Oh, God. I didn't press record. We do buddy checks.
This happens.
So we're on now. Last time we did, what was it, 20 minutes?
Yeah, we did record for a while once without hitting record.
Yeah, right.
But here we are back on the Imposter podcast in the bush. We're in South Australia today, near the centre of Australia, at the Marree Hotel with Phil and Marree, the Publicans, and also run Arid Air. So thanks for having us in the hotel.
You can't hear the sound effects.
I've got no headphones today, so I'm going to get some fun with that. But yeah, thanks for having us. And we're back for the second time now. So we're here a week ago, and we've been off and sort of been right around Lake Eyre and the Simpson Desert. But it's been incredible to sort of see the area, you guys' hospitality, and all the different businesses in the area. So yeah, we'll what do you want to do? Go back to why you're in Marree, and yeah.
Yeah, have you always been like country people, or?
Oh, we've always sort of been, rural based, I guess, in some form. Why we're in Marree, I don't know. I'm still scratching my head on that. Just one of those things that happened. But no, we've always sort of been rural people back in Victoria, and always been associated with rural business and that sort of thing. So we'd sold a business back in Victoria back in 2015. Yep, 2015 we'd sold that and retired. Everyone said, "Oh, you're too young to retire," and I didn't believe them. About 18 months later, I thought, "Oh, you're probably right."
So what was your was your business in, like, was it a pub down there, or was it?
No, with a couple of partners that we had some John Deere dealerships and that through Victoria. So that sort of kept us out of trouble pretty well. So yeah, anyway, we sort of ended up moving on, got out of that, and we were driving around on holidays up through this country here actually, and we're on our way back down south through Port Augusta, and Maria, like we'd always spoken about, maybe we should buy a car wash or something. And anyway, she seen one in Port Augusta and thought that was a great idea, let's buy that one. So we did. We moved to Port Augusta, and to be honest, we met some awesome people there. We had a pretty good 5 years at Port Augusta. Sort of run that car wash, rebuilt it from ground up pretty much, and got it going as a good little business. Went through COVID with that, but while we're there too, we seen an opportunity for tourism in the outback, and we sort of had our own little plane and been poking around. And while we're in that sort of semi-retirement period, I'd gone and done a commercial pilot's license and sort of upgraded from the private license. And anyway, so we just started flying a few people around out of Port Augusta, and then that expanded into Birdsville, and then we were sort of running Birdsville, Port Augusta and that. And 2021, we thought we should centralise a bit, so we bought an outback pub, Marree, and here we are, flying planes out of Marree, and it's been a good thing.
So with the pilots thing, how long have you been a pilot for? Was that when you were in Vic, or did you only start that after retiring?
No, I did that back in 2005, and then probably didn't really get full on into it until, I don't know,
2009.
2009.
You're flying between the dealerships.
Yep, somewhere around there anyway. But yep, doing a bit then, and yeah, and then just sort of expanded from there.
So when you were flying between dealerships, is that all Victoria, or was that
all Victoria?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So what sort of plane was that? Just a tiny little one, or?
We had a beautiful little 2005 182 Cessna 182. Beautiful little plane. Should never have sold it.
And that's the sort of small plane people would learn to fly in as well?
Oh, it's probably a step up. Like normally most people start in a 172. This is the 182.
Okay.
Yeah, really nice little plane.
Yeah. Is that what you've got out here, where you do some of the tours in, or is that different again?
No, we got bigger planes out here now. We've got some Cessna 210s, a couple of
210s,
yep.
Yeah.
So they're 6-seaters. We've got Cessna Caravans. They're 14-seaters, and then up north we've got working at the moment an Air Van, which is an 8-seater.
Okay. And so you've gone from sort of being involved in rural machinery, you stepped up to your own car wash, and then to like a quite a remote pub. What was that like? Were they massive steps up, or did you build confidence that you could do this sort of thing through those different steps?
No, look, being in Port Augusta, we're flying the planes out of there in Birdsville, so we're already doing aviation for a good 5 years before we bought the pub. So because we were living there, we were familiar with the outback. We were in between here and Birdsville all the time. So no, just buying the pub was just, instead of operating out of the Birdsville pub, we operated out of the Marree pub. It was just this time we owned it and had to worry about all the staff that go with it.
Less overheads, more problems.
Yeah. But no, it's been the best thing. We kept doing Port Augusta for a while. We've got a office and hangars down in Port Augusta as well. But so then we decided that it just wasn't viable in Port Augusta to keep pilots down there as well. So we've just stayed in Marree now. Stopped with the others.
And you run a few arms of the business out of here. So how does that go compared to sort of being maybe in Victoria where there's a lot more services and things close by? Are you're just coordinating things by phone and radio a lot of the time here? How do you find that?
Well, we actually don't feel like we're that remote.
Only when something breaks down. Then you go, shit, I'm remote.
I guess if you've got planes, they're not that remote though, are you?
No, well, we have flown stuff up here before, drop of a hat. But no, we get food deliveries each week. You order in Adelaide and there's always trucks or someone coming up each week. So, and look, it's only an hour and a quarter to an IGA shop in Lee Creek, and Port Augusta's only 3.5 hours. We've got the Royal Flying Doctors here, so we've got doctors coming up at least once a month, dentists, optometrists, like all the services come to us now. And, you don't have to wait. So, we just feel it's it's not remote.
So some people would say being able to see a doctor once a month's not
not always a good thing.
No, someone said that the other night, but if you book, it'll take you 3 weeks to get in.
True. Yeah, true.
Half the time. So, yeah.
So is there merit in, a lot of people do move to the country or, rural, remote areas. Is that been a great life change? Obviously, you're very busy at the pub here, but it's very social. Like, how is that? People were saying before, everyone's kind of joked about buying a pub in the country somewhere. Like, what's that actually been like, and what would you say to people?
I know. Look, it's one of those things where it's it's definitely different. It's a big change to your life, especially I think if you come out of city. But we've kind of been like in reasonable sized country towns in Victoria, but that's nothing like being out here. It's totally different. Look, I don't think we found the transition too hard at all. I mean, we spent a little bit of time in Birdsville. We're still lucky enough to have a holiday house in Birdsville. One of the few people in Australia have a holiday house in Birdsville, I think. But we still got a place up there. We really enjoyed our time that we spent in Birdsville. And out here, it's one of those things, you kind of end up immersing yourself into the community a bit. You'll find the local people, the station people and all that, like they're really, I don't know, they're kind of like just really accepting and helpful. And if you're ever in a bind, there's always a hand pops up to help you out here, with whatever it is. So, look, I think, from a personal, it's pretty rewarding. You're right, it's very social. If you blokes had gone to bed last night, it wouldn't have been as social.
I'm pretty sure Al tapped out at 6:30.
Yeah. Wish a few others did.
But it's different to like a pub in town, because this one's seasonal. Our season's typically April, May to sort of end of October, which is great. Then you get your November to sort of March, where that's your time to sit back, get your maintenance done, or go on holidays, or if you've got the right people. So you go hard for 5 or 6 months and that carries you over, but we like that. It's better than doing it for 12 months and it's not stopping. We've got people coming through all the time. It's a destination, so we're not like the town pub that's got to do the meat raffles on a Friday night trying to get the locals back in and changing the menu. We can have the same menu for 365 days a year because most people are through once, but then we have a lot of people that are regulars, They just come here all the time, like you guys, every year. So we find it good, really good mix of seasonal work.
The other thing that's really evident is, compared to going to city pubs and that sort of thing, you guys are front and centre the whole time. You're at the bar late at night, you're up here doing breakfast. Everybody's interacting with you. It's been quite surprising coming out of a city too that just everybody at the bar will talk to everybody, and that's actually taken sort of half a week to get used to that. People ignore you in the cities pretty well these days. So, and that's sort of happened all the way around Unadada and Birdsville Track. Is it just the sort of people that come out here? Like, what do you think the difference is? Like, and who's drawn to come up here and travel? Well,
I think it is a bit, everyone's in that like travel mode. Like they just want to get out and meet people and experience it. And I just think it is just the way it is in the outback.
And if you look at it, pardon me, there's 90% of people coming through are on holidays. They're already having a good time. So the only thing getting road of that is us if we get it wrong. So you're just about offering a good service and make it friendly. And we set the country music in the pub just ticking over all the time. And
Great food.
Light the fire at night out the front, you know, in the cooler weather, and people stand around. So it's about the atmosphere that you set, and you know, each outback pub will have its own way of doing that. So yeah, each outback pub will set its own sort of environment, I guess. But it's people in general, as I say, are already on holidays. They're already in a good frame of mind. You do tend to get, I mean, you'll get all sorts of people. Sometimes you'll be sitting at the bar talking to someone, you don't know who you're talking to. It turns out that, you know, there might be the CEO of some huge company in Australia, or whatever it might be. Or we might have people jump in the plane and book it, and you haven't got a clue, and then you're flying around, you work out, geez, yeah, right there from a pretty big background or whatever. But you know, everyone's kind of the same level, and it's good. There's no airs and graces.
When we cruise around, like in the regional parts, there's seems to be different events being held all the time, like the Birdsville races and stuff. When we drove through Birdsville before, there was a massive amount of car parks, and it's like to me, it's bizarre going in there and seeing 3 people, and then I'm like, why is this car park so big? Like, do you guys have? It seems like Lake Eyre over here. Like, there's a yacht club here, which we were talking about beforehand, and I was like, is that just a rundown old thing that was made ages ago? And you're like, no, there's still 300 members. Like, what sort of events are there regionally that people turn up to that you wouldn't know unless you come here?
Well, we've got the Gymkhana coming up in June. We get a lot of people come through to go to the Fink. But we've got the Camel Cup on July the 6th this year. It's on a Saturday, and this is actually our 30th anniversary. The first one was 1993, but because of COVID, they missed a year, so this is their 30th year this year. And then...
you can't social distance out here. There's no room.
Hey?
That's right.
no space out here for that.
Exactly. And then I think we've got the Bronco branding in September. So we only have like the 3 events really. But we have all the people going through to the Bash, people going through the Birdsville races or up to the Fink, or there's always something happening somewhere.
Yeah, our whole season is based around the moving events. So we've got our own events in town, but then, you know, as Maria said, like, you got the Fink Desert Race. So there's all these people make the Oodnadatta track or the Birdsville track, the Simpson Desert Crossing, as part of their Fink experience. And then the Big Red Bash, the music festival up at Birdsville. So we get all these people come through. You know, there's 10,000 people go to Birdsville for the week. So there's a lot of them coming from Victoria, South Australia, Western Australia. They're all coming through here.
You got the Grey Maids heading up north for the winter every year, and then on their way back through.
Races as well. Like, there's just so many different events that are on, and you know, people go, well, whilst we're in the region, we'll come through. So yeah, there's always something going on. There's always another event, you know, and then it's because we're right on the edge of Lake Eyre, we call it the edge, but we're probably 70 or 80 k's away, but a bit further, maybe.
It's relative, yeah.
Relatively, yeah. Jumping an aeroplane doesn't take long. But yeah, you know, because we're on the edge of Lake Eyre, so there's already so many people coming here to go and have a look at Lake Eyre with us in the plains and experience that. So, yeah, it's like a destination. You know, we're at the start of the Oodnadatta track and start of the Birdsville track, 2 of the iconic 4-wheel-drive tracks in Australia. So there's people coming here just to drive on those tracks, you know. So it's like kind of blown us away, really, just how busy the outback gets, you know. And it's not an uncomfortable busy that you just, you know, you got 10,000 people around you all the time. It's not like that. There's just a steady stream of people coming through. And it's funny, you know, you look into our campground at the back of the pub. You look there at 10 o'clock in the morning, she's empty. You go, gee, look at that, she's all gone. And then by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, she's chockers again. They're all in. The rooms are full. People in the bar, and away it goes. You know, it's just a continuous cycle.
Yeah, that was like us when we turned up, and we were struggling to get a spot, and then by the time we woke up, there was only our 3 cars there.
And we realised we're in the dead centre of the car park. We had to move.
Had to go around,
Yeah, it looks very awkward when you park in the middle and everyone's gone. You're like, oh, that looks rude from us.
Yep. There's not much you can do.
It seems as well, you know, you mentioned Oodnadatta, Birdsville, we went up to Mount Dare, that no one's really in competition here. Like, no matter where the event is, you all get through traffic, and it just sort of supports this circuit around Lake Eyre and the Simpson Desert. You
do, and you actually need your neighbours to be good too.
Yep.
Like, you know, like if, you all rely on them having the services at the other place as well, so they can get here.
Yeah, because there's big distances between each place. It's 100% right. Everyone needs to do a good job, and everyone does do a good job, and everyone pretty much encourages people to go to the next place, you know, and complete the loop or whatever it might be. And in a lot of our tours that we do in the plane, our full day tours, we incorporate the William Creek, Oodnadatta, Mount Dare, Birdsville, Inaminka. We do tours to all them places and incorporate. So we're relying on those people to do a good job as well, and they all do. So it all adds to the experience of the outback.
Yeah, nice.
I like the way you call them neighbours when it took me a whole day to get here in the car from somewhere else before.
Well,
Multiple refuels.
Yeah. Well, we actually had a cook once and he said, I might go and work up at Mungarani pub. And I said, you can't do that. They're neighbours. He goes, it's 200 k's away.
Well, it's funny because space gets relative when you come out here. You look at regional, country farmers and stuff in Victoria and their neighbours. I was like, that's not a neighbour.
No.
No.
If it takes them 15 minutes to get here, how is that a neighbour? And then here we're like, well, we have to take a pack lunch and a free car fridge, before we can get somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of ironically, the connections are probably stronger because there is that distance, and like you said, you have to rely on them and support each other.
Yeah, you really need everyone to be doing their bit out here because it just makes all the people that are coming to the area, makes their experience so much better.
One thing Australians do a lot when they're young, particularly as we go over to Europe and travel other countries. I know myself, I haven't done much of Australia until I was well into my 30s. So we've just done this circuit. We've been all around the Simpson Desert. It's been incredible. What would you sort of say to people about coming up here if they haven't travelled in sort of remote areas? What sort of four-wheel drives? Like we've just seen a stock standard Ford Everest to do the entire Simpson Desert. It's totally accessible, particularly maybe if they do a tour. Like what would you say to people that want to come through and see these areas?
Look, I think, pardon me, as she's just said, you don't need all the bells and whistles. You just need a good, reliable vehicle.
Yeah.
You think of our parents and grandparents, they were coming up here in HQ Holdens.
Yep.
They still got through. They drove these tracks all day long. So today, we've all got pretty nice or good access to nice four-wheel drives. The essentials that you need if you're going to travel in the outback, there's a couple of things. You need food, you need water. They're going to keep you alive.
Yep.
So you need that. You need a good, reliable car, and you need a way of communicating to someone that, as we say, tell someone that cares about you. So tell family, I'm leaving here, I'm going to there. And at that end, I'll give you a call. So a bit like we do on the planes, we leave a SAR time, search and rescue. So if I'm leaving here, I tell them this is where I'm going, this is my flight path. Get the other end, we ring in, we made it. It's no different in your vehicle.
Yep.
They do the same thing. We tell someone that cares, no point telling the publican.
We get busy.
Or the person at the roadhouse, we get busy.
Yep.
We got 100 people coming through. So you always say, just tell someone that cares, and that's a family member or a friend or something like that. And
But they need a satellite phone or something of those means, plus a UHF. There's so much better if you can talk to the vehicle in front of you and say, I'm coming past, mate, because there's all dust, I can't see, am I right? Yep. Slow down. There's all those road things. They need to just learn probably the basic
rules. If a vehicle's coming the other way, slow down, go past each other really slow. You might get past each other with a windscreen.
Yep.
Yeah. Things like that left intact. So it's just, but yeah, look, I would just fully encourage. Like we get quite a lot of young people come out here, and you can see them that come out. They've got their old troopies, or they've got their old patrols, or whatever it is. Their rangers, whatever they've got.
The leakers.
Yeah, the leakers, exactly. And they come out.
Made it all the way around, by the way.
And they're all, they're sort of decked out. They've got their Max tracks on and their swags and all the gear, but they're out having a ball. They're camping, they're living, they're stopping at the pubs. It's awesome to see kids and the amount of young families that are coming through now, fully set up on the road, is unbelievable. Heaps.
Yeah, a lot of homeschooling.
Yep.
To do the Simpson crossing, you've got to have a pretty reliable, decent car. But to get out here, you could have a Toyota Yaris and get out to Marree.
Well, it's bitumen all the way to our door
all
now.
the way here.
It has been since 2019, and people are still don't realise it.
No, well, we had no idea. We figured it would have been 8 hours of road driving to get here, like on the corrugations.
Yeah, well, we've just learned as well, you can see all the major towns here without crossing the Simpson. They're all very drivable roads, even for two-wheel drives.
Yep.
It's only if you want to do those sand dunes across the Simpson that you need like a four-wheel drive.
Yeah, there's plenty of cars come up here, Subaru Forest and things like that. They can go and do Oodnadatta or slip through the birds or, and it's just, you just drive to conditions.
Yeah.
Take it steady, it's not warp speed.
And I think people don't realise, look, on the open road, like back on the highways, and that 100 k's is 1 hour. Out here, 500 k's might be 9 hours. Like it's
and we
not,
found that yesterday from
especially
Birdsville.
across the Simpson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 days for 600 k's, isn't it?
400.
Yeah, very slow, lots of breaks. But the other thing we've found too, again, to give people confidence is, and not to put you guys in it, but the publicans, the service station owners, they'll speak to you, they'll give you a bit of advice, they'll tell you what condition the roads are in, who's left ahead of you, that sort of day. So it's been really good. There's not really any gaps in information, and
a little bit of local knowledge pays and helps, and just helps people take it easy. And like for us, it's important too, because otherwise, if people go flat out driving this country and something all goes wrong, it's us as the locals that have to go and help out.
Yeah.
So we want people to take their time and go easy and enjoy themselves. So
And arrive.
yeah, just we encourage people. You're out here on holidays, be on holidays, go slow. There's no need to go fast on these roads.
The windscreen thing was something I didn't realise until we got up here. And the boys make sure when you overtake, you go slow. And it's like, I figured it was just for dust. But then they're like, no, you'll smash your front windscreen.
Yeah.
That would be.
That's probably the main one, to be honest. I seen a truck coming towards me on the wrong side of the road one time, and I thought, you idiot, why? And it was because his dust. He went over on the other side, so it would go on the in the paddock, so I could go the other side of him. Otherwise, I would have drove through dust and would have been blinded. So
Yep.
And the big one really is, I just can't stress enough, is when you are passing another vehicle as you're coming towards each other, slow down, courtesy to the other vehicle, and just protect each other. Like the amount of stones, some people can come hooking the other way past you at 100 kilometres an hour, and you're virtually pulled up to get off the road, point your car in the opposite direction a bit. You see they're not stopping, and just the stones that are blasting your vehicle.
the dust they're creating that you're driving through.
Yep. So just, courtesy to other vehicles, slow down.
Some other things, you've got channel 10s for four-wheel driving. That was a thing. Clay helped us out with that. So he's on channel 10. So we were, and then he was 40 on the way out here. Are there any other channels and things you need to know about?
No, it's really like you're on it pretty well. If you're on the highways, on the main roads, channel 40, all your trucks and that'll be on that. And then once you hit the off-road tracks, it's onto that channel 10 for your Simpson and that sort of stuff. But on the main roads, channel 40. Everyone's staying on a common channel and talk.
There's actually something you can get which gives you all the channels, and then if you're in trouble too, if you're going you're crossing a station boundary, there'll be often a sign which says what that station channel is. Not for you to use it, but to take note of in case something happens.
Yep. It'll be a repeater channel.
Yeah.
And there's an emergency channel, isn't there?
Well, each station will have its own repeater channel. So you basically,
So that's
as you go through, you utilise them and you'll get to someone at that point.
Okay.
I'd imagine there's some people that would travel up here that might be a bit intimidated jumping on the radio on Channel 40. Excuse me. On the city highways, 40 can be, a bit hard to listen to, but up here we've heard, nothing but good etiquette. And, whether it's a road trade driver or a four-wheel drive, I'm sure they'd rather hear from people. Just come up and say, hey, I'm approaching a road train. Which way would you like me to go? Especially like you said, Marree, if it seems like they're on the wrong side of the road because of dust. So, just come up and communicate. Don't overdo it on the radio, but just ask a question and they'll tell you what they want you to do.
It's been so handy having the UHF. Yeah. Everyone should have one on.
Yep, definitely. And the big thing I reckon you just nailed on there, mate, is don't over communicate.
Yeah.
Amount of people, you just hear so if you've got a group of vehicles and then everyone wants to have a chat along the way, no one else can get a word in, or other people sitting in the car have to listen to that the whole time. So use it as a form of communication. It's not a chat line.
Yep. We had a side channel with the handheld, so do that and
exactly.
have those conversations where you're not everyone's hearing it.
Yeah, leave the main channel open for people that need to use it.
Yeah, there's a lot of I think it might be more of a Victorian thing because we get bogged all the time. But like when you've got a winch operator, we usually have a handheld. So if you've got a handheld and a actual CB, have one on a chat channel, and then the other one can just be for
100%
trucks and stuff.
Yep.
Probably the other great way to get some confidence about touring around here would be some reconnaissance from the air. So
yeah, mate.
do people come in and do a flight and kind of get a bit of a sense of what's around before they take off?
Yeah, that's the whole reason we're here. That's the only reason we ended up here is because of the aircraft and that sort of thing. I mean, the outback is to be on the ground and feel it, see it is unreal. But if you want to get a proper perspective of the outback and the size and the scale and the beauty of it, it's forever changing, there's only one way to do it. Let's get in the air, jump in the plane. So that's what we do. We often say, we run this pub, which is full on hectic and keeps Maria up bloody 16, 18 hours a day. But we always say our main business is the planes. So that's a big part of what we do. We have lots and lots of people out, every day jumping in our aircraft and taking them out around Lake Eyre, through to Birdsville, in and Minka, doing our Mount Dare, Dalhousie trips, all those sort of things. If you really want to see the outback from the air and get it in a different perspective, buy the air stuff.
And not everyone's got the means too. Like we've had this lovely old lady on a flight recently to Dalhousie because she's got her 2-wheel drive. She's come up here. She'll never be able to see it any other way. And she's just like, she's hugged us when she's had finished on the day trip because she just couldn't have seen it any other way. And she's just had lunch at Mount Dare, swam in the Dalhousie hot springs. She was like, she's got to be in her 80s and she would have done it no other way. So it just makes the outback accessible.
Do you guys have flights out of major cities that come over here, or how would you get here if it wasn't by road?
If it's a big enough group, you could go into Adelaide and talk us, and we do a custom thing where we'll come down and pick you up, or Port Augusta or somewhere like that. There's a lot of people we've got groups here at the moment that have done multiple days with us. They've just organised to all drive to Marree because you can get to Marree, bloody moped, takes nothing to get to Marree. And then they just stay here and then, they'll do multiple trips with us or whatever it might be, or a trip. They'll just customise a trip and away they go and get on board with what we're doing with our normal trips. So, it depends who it is, but,
We have actually started creating a couple of tours where they can hop on a bus and do some of the towns coming through Peterborough, the fossil dinosaur tours on the way, come up here, and then they do the flights and stay here and see the outback, and then they get a bus back. So, there's lots of ways.
Because when you look at regional flights, you start going, oh, that's pretty expensive. But it literally cost me like $2,000 just to get my car 4-wheel drive ready to come up here,
Exactly.
and then with the price of fuel nowadays, and then when you get up here and it's around $3 a litre at certain places up here, it becomes very clear that. Well, in hindsight, when Al and I were talking about it, we could have just flown up here and then got dropped. I didn't realise you could land near Dalhousie.
There's only a few operators.
Only limited operators can do it.
Only 3 of us with permission.
Yep.
Okay, it's a permission thing.
I think too, I've done a few scenic flights around the world, been very lucky, but they're some of the best memories that you take from travel, to see things from the air. It's just a totally different perspective. It's worth doing both. But definitely encourage people to, to come up and do a flight. You guys very generously donated a flight with the Saltwater Veterans raffle last night. So lucky winner of that will have a great time.
Yeah, so I don't think we've ever had a person get off the plane going, geez, well, that wasn't quite what I expected.
Oh, what a letdown.
Yeah. Most people get off going like,
exceeded expectations.
Well, didn't realise that was out there, and like we do full commentary on all our flights, full day flights or whatever it is. It's commentary all the way.
And fly at the right heights. Just, to maximise. Yeah.
We, Clay and I used to do transits over to Port Augusta in the Black Hawks.
Yep.
And it's such a different perspective. Like when as it was, we got to some dunes at the top of some dunes and you just stopped because you just went, wow, look how far we can see.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it gets monotonous just going up and down when you're doing the driving. And because you're paying attention to trying to get over a dune or whatever, you don't really notice all the flora and fauna around.
Oh, you miss.
So we got very track focused and you're just paying attention to there. Luckily enough, we had a Canadian bloke that just fell over every 2 dunes. So we had heaps of times to stop and have a look around. He knows what this is. He'll hear that.
Yeah.
No, it's just like a painting out there, though. It's just you can look out one window and it's all green and, the Gordon Channel, and then you look at another one and it's like you said, you've got all the sand dunes, the oranges, and it's just so colourful out there, the patterns, everyone wants to see the lake when it's full, but at the moment with some water in it, you've got springs, you've got, just the patterns and the colours, the pinks and the...
There's stuff I always say on some of our tours that we do. There's people driving up the Birdsville track and it's an awesome experience to go and do. But only a sand dune or 2 over is this whole different world sitting there that they know nothing about. And the Goyder Lagoon and the Warburton River and, there's just so much out there that until you're in an aircraft, you've got no idea. And it is the next level different world.
The Marree, man, can only be seen from the air. That's the famous mystery.
So do you get many people coming that are a little bit nervous about small planes, and how do you help them get on board and experience it?
Every day. Every day, you know.
Thought you were about to say yourself.
Yeah. I always say, the pilot doesn't want to die either. So, no, look, we do. We just talk to them and get them in the seat, make sure they're all seated, they're all happy, talk to them in the air. As soon as we're taking off, we're talking to them, chatting to them, start showing them stuff. The minute we take off, we're pointing stuff out already. There's stuff to see. There's history about this whole region. So yeah, most nervous flyers, by the time we land, we've had so many come and give us a hug.
Yep.
So, it's good.
Do you do skydiving and stuff out here?
No, we don't.
Okay.
No,
That'd be interesting.
Something different.
Yeah, there might be something to get into. I think we were out somewhere. There was like outback skydiving at some point, but it might have been further south.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to jump into the middle of the desert as opposed to, because there's heaps of coastal ones that they love doing. Like where you come out and you have a view whilst you're in the. It'd be interesting doing Marree Man from parachute.
Yeah, it'd be different, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to get the permissions might be a bit different.
Yeah. So we spoke to someone earlier in the week about, how people go about becoming a pilot. They can do it through the Vet in Schools sort of program now. What experience have you had with young pilots getting hours up here or going to some of the islands, and what would you sort of tell them to look at as a pathway?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Obviously, we spend quite a lot of time training pilots to get them to our standard. And that's not just as a pilot, that's just as a person, a people person, and understanding the area and all that sort of thing. So I guess, look, everyone's got to go through at some point, do the CPL, and, their minimums are 180, 200 hours that they come out with. I guess I would really encourage people at that point to, I know you've already just spent a fortune getting to your CPL, but you're going to need to spend more again and go and get some mates together, get in an aeroplane and hire it and go and do a cross-country adventure. Just go around Australia, wherever it is.
Yep.
Spend the money. It will put you so far in front of everyone else because now you've got command time. So you can prove that you can make a decision. You've got more experience in navigation, and you've just done flights without an instructor sitting beside you. You've shown that you can actually do this. So that's really important. If you can get to someone that can get you into what we call the Cessna 200 series, so the 210s, 206s, the slightly bigger aircraft, go and get a few hours on them so you at least got some idea what you're doing in the bigger planes, and that sounds harsh, but it's probably one of the toughest things that we have, which is when we get young pilots come to us, we become like a training school, and we're not here for that. By the time you come to us, you should be relatively competent in flying an aircraft, and we will spend time with you refining that and getting you going and getting you fully competent in a plane, so you can jump in with you and feel confident. And then we teach you the commentary, because ultimately it sounds like, you're only doing scenic flights out here, but
You're a tour guide.
you're a tour guide. From the time the wheels go clunk underneath the plane, they're up, you're off the ground, you're talking.
Yeah.
And you've got to be able to fly the plane competently, know the history, understand the history. And if you come out here, I always say, don't come out here just to build hours. You've got to be a bit passionate about it. Like it's hard work, it's long hours. It's very rewarding, but you just got to be passionate. So, big thing.
Excellent.
So how did you get into, do you own your own business when you were doing the stuff in Victoria?
Correct. Yep.
So how did you go through that? Did you start off working for that company and then move into being a boss, or how?
No, I was one of them blokes when I left school. I was truck driving, shearing, working on farms.
Did you finish school?
Not a lot of it.
Well, it's funny because a lot of people we've been speaking to, they left in like year 10 or whatever. They're like, it's not for me. Yeah. And then, they've been knocking around guys for a little bit, and then they find something they're actually interested in, and now they start having focus.
Yeah.
It's been interesting so far to see how many people just weren't, I don't know, they weren't interested. They weren't, there was no appeal to any of the subjects they were learning there, or it just seemed pointless to them.
Yeah, I don't think there's any fixed thing with schooling. You know, we've even seen that with one of our young blokes. Like, you know,
It's just not for everyone.
it's not for everyone. Schooling's not for everyone. And you don't, as long as you can read, write, count, add up, do all that sort of thing, you'll come out and you'll find your passion and away you go and apply yourself to it. You know, a lot of it's in the chest. That's where it comes from.
So how did you end up getting in charge of your first John Deere place?
It was a bit of a funny story, really. I had another John Deere. I was working for a New Holland dealer. Had another John Deere dealer was talking to me on the side, and we'd been to visit him. He wanted us to come up and manage a new branch he was setting up. And I'd been up and had a look at this place, and I was actually back home, and he was on the phone to me, and he rang up. He said, "So what's your thoughts?" I said, "Listen, I'm just trying to work it out with my wife, make sure it's the right decision. It's a big shift. I'll give you a ring tomorrow." And the phone started, making that bipping noise of a call coming in. I said, "Listen, I've got another call coming in. I'll chat to you tomorrow." Grabbed the phone, next call, John Deere dealer in town. "I hear you're on the move."
Oh,
It was just like that. And then within a week, probably we'd bought the dealership. I was 31, 32, bought the dealership, and I was in partnership with another guy who was already there, so I bought one partner out.
Yep.
And away we went, moved from
2 dealerships.
2 dealerships and finished up with 5 and 140 people working, and away it went.
And was that all across Victoria then?
Yeah, from one side, basically South Australian border right through up into Gippsland.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was good years, good experience, a lot of work, away a lot, but it was good.
When it came up that you could actually go partnership into that, was there like what sort of nerves were you dealing with, or was it just it was an easy decision, or did you?
For me, it was an easy decision because I always wanted to work for myself. Even up until I was 25, I'd never really done permanent work anywhere. I was always never out of a job, always working for someone somewhere doing something different. I was either driving with this bloke's here and there, working on a property or whatever it was. So I always wanted to do my own thing. So yeah, for me it was no great decision. I wish I could buy into that dealership again for that sort of money. It was unbelievable. But
I was going to say, like as a shearer and a truckie and that sort of stuff, were you able to save up enough money to buy it, or was that like a financial? You went to the bank and took a gamble with that?
yeah, I went to the bank. The bloke getting out helped me in a bit as well.
Cool.
So,
That was the scariest bit. There's nothing.
yeah, nothing. So, yeah, really. And you just got to back yourself, I guess.
So when you progressed and you got more and more of them, was each new one, was that anything more, or was it just, we know this business, it feels right?
We knew the business. We knew they feel right, and you could see the opportunities. With each one, was still calculated. You'd done your sums and your numbers and all that, and went through. But as each one come along, it was just you knew the process. Yep, that one there, bang, just move. And
because we speak to people about how you get started into certain things, and there's always like that one step or something where you're like, oh God, what am I doing here? But then from there, once you've taken that first step, you sort of like you get momentum and you keep going. So it's like with houses. People say they buy one house and then from there you get equity, and then you can. The first one's always the hardest. But then, so once you've got to, what was it, 5 in the end? And then you guys retired. What made you think we're going to go from Victoria, where all our friends and family are, and we know everything? Why go to Port Augusta?
Well, we just we'd sold up like we just were travelling, and I was actually born in Whyalla, so that's why we were going there, because I was only there until I was 1. So I wanted to go and have a look at it. But we'd heard about car washes; they're supposed to make lots of money, so we thought we'll buy one. We'll keep travelling.
Where'd you see that on Breaking Bad?
yeah, that was
No, but they can send us the money when we keep travelling. But no, It doesn't work that way. You need to owner operate them.
Oh, okay.
We feel to get the best out of them. So we end up, because we were there for in the end 3 years running it ourselves before we got managers in. But that's just how we just come across it, and that's what took us to Port Augusta. But yes, when we went home and told our family and friends we were shifting to Port Augusta, well, no one could understand it. But I'll tell you what.
Well, I've been to the camp out there with Army, and I wouldn't understand it.
No, but it actually is a great place.
It's beautiful when you drive through it.
We had the water there. We could go
Indus Ranges,
like get the razor fish.
Razor, yep.
Go out fishing. You got the full driving outback. You've got Adelaide 3.5 hours away, and and great weather. It's just like, yeah, we actually didn't mind it at all. It's like any other place. It's got its issues like everywhere. But no, it was really good. So, yeah, it was a big culture thing. We've gone from green grass and gum trees, having 100
to looking like the moon.
Yeah.
Mind you, around like the river and stuff, it's very green and pretty.
Yeah. So, no, we just, I don't know, it's just something about the outback. It's a lot of nothing out there as some people look at it, but I don't know, it's just get you.
We've kind of always liked the outback, even travelling, driving through it. You know, if we are on holidays and we're going somewhere, we want to go to the most remote places we can get to. You know, so we've always enjoyed that side of it. So.
Don't need the traffic lights.
No.
And then you got into the air stuff there. It's at was that at like what was your reason for starting that up? Like, did somebody say, "Can you take me for a flight?" And then you went from there.
No, really, I just got pretty bored at the car wash.
Yeah, we just had his own plane. He said, "Oh, I reckon we can do it." And we were sitting there anyway at the car wash, so we just sort of. And before we knew it, I know at one stage we had about 7 planes and 5 pilots. It just grew, and we had to sell obviously the 182 because that's only a 4-seater, but really only takes 2 passengers. So first thing we had to do was buy a 210, which to me, like this one had like cream leather seats, what we sold, and then we're getting into something that was like real retro, checkered bloody tartan upholstery, but
more suited to the operation.
Yeah, they're the workhorse of the outback, and so that was a big thing. But that was a 6-seater, and before we knew it, we had 3 210s, and it just went from there. So
yeah, it's been a transition and moving, ultimately centralising here to Marree. You know, we've gone from running 6-seater aircraft and that, and doing multiple trips a day, to getting into the bigger aircraft that we've got now, and it's, you know, you just consolidate it all, and so you can lift so many more people in one hit, and it's just totally changed our whole operation. And you know, when the summer months come in, no one wants to be flying out here. It's too hot and too rough, and we sort of used to just put the planes back in the hangar, whereas now we've got these bigger aircraft and they're in demand, so they work all year round. So when we're finished with them, bang, they're off to another operator somewhere working elsewhere.
Okay, so you lease them out to the people then?
Yep. So they're going all year round.
Oh, cool.
It's sort of totally changed our whole business model, really, for what we used to do.
So you're going to take on Rex now?
Not really.
Like, don't tell them that just yet, before they do something.
No.
So then you've gone from doing the flying, then you've come out here. Who tells you that there's a pub for sale? Like, were you looking for pubs?
There wasn't a pub for sale.
Oh, okay.
No, a Birdsville pub got sold, and we were there, and the new owners decided they were going to start up doing flights out of there, and we did it for a bit, and we thought, look, we've got to make a decision here. Do we give it up now? It's time to retire again, or what? So we decided, well, we'll buy our own. So just rang up Phil and Maz and said, are you interested in selling the lease? And they said, yeah. And then we rang Laurie and said, do you want to sell the buildings?
Oh, really?
That's how it went.
Yeah, right. Okay. So neither of them were for sale at the time until you bullied them into it. Yeah, fair enough. So how do you then go? I mean, like you've gone from a John Deere dealership to running a car wash to now running your own air pilot place to then a pub, which is a completely different thing again. I mean, obviously you've drunk beer before, Phil, but I mean, what else do you need to know, I guess? But like, how do you decide then that we're going to go and run a pub, or are you guys just now at the point of like, well, it doesn't matter what business it is, we'll do all right?
Well, I think a lot of them probably got the same thing. You've always got staff. It's just different things you're selling or doing. But to us, a pub's just a big house, lots of cleaning, lots of cooking, lots of staff, yeah. But it's different because we get a lot of backpackers as our staff. So you've got language barriers as well.
That's also your heads up for regional pilots that are starting out. Plenty of backpackers staying out here.
Yep. I always say that to a young bloke. We've got a cracker. We've got some really good young pilots here with us at the moment, and pardon me, they've been with us for, Aaron's been with us about 3 years now, and
is he the Zac Efron looking dude?
Yeah.
We
saw him come in. He had everything's R.M. Williams.
He's too good looking to be a pilot.
Oh, has a swagger on him.
We just sent him to Early Beach with one of our planes to go and work up there for a while. I said, mate, just go and enjoy yourself up there for a while. So but funny enough,
he was hanging to get
2 months, 3 months in, whatever it was, he goes, I'm ready for home. And, he couldn't wait to get back here.
Yep.
That's unreal.
And Yeah, so it's very interesting too because a lot of people do sea change, but I've never heard of people doing desert change before. But
seems to be a lot of Victorians around this area.
oh,
Yeah.
it's
Ex-Victorians, I should say.
escapees maybe we could call them. So it's been very interesting to come around. We see obviously the Victorians and stuff, but there's a lot of people traveling the desert, but not that many people stay out here. But a lot of people I've spoken to say they love it. It's one of their favourite places, but it obviously takes a certain sort of individual to be able to stay out here.
Yeah, look, it does. Yeah, you've got to know it. Like, I'll be honest, when I first come out, I'm like...
it's intimidating.
Yeah, like I actually had a girlfriend that owned the Birdsville Roadhouse, and I went to school with her. And I seen her and I went, oh, God, what are you doing out here? And she was like, I've been here 20-odd years. And I said, what? And I nearly burst into tears for her. I thought, how could you do that? I'm looking, there's nothing out here. Like, where do you go to shop?
Are you in witness protection? Like, what do you do?
Like, what's going on? Yeah. And anyway, and then I don't know what happened within a couple of years. We're in Birdsville. She sold the Roadhouse. She's out and we got a house there and flying out of there. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, when you first, you have to know it to love it.
But it's like it's rewarding though. Like it's unique. Like the experiences you get to do, the places you get to see, the people you get to meet. Like it's rewarding. Like we don't feel. I said the only time we feel remote is when something breaks and go, Jesus, how am I going to fix this? You know, then you feel a bit remote. Otherwise, we're not remote. If we want to get to town, that's all right. You blokes might nick down the street. We nick to town. So 3.5 hours later, we're in town.
2.5 to Roxby Downs.
Yep, it's make it a bit of a day, but so, I don't know. Look, it is a really unique experience. It's the pub comes a busy life, but it's how you structure it, make sure you can get around it and still enjoy a bit. I'm lucky I get planes, so I get to escape occasionally. Marree gets stuck here a bit, but it's
all about having the right people
it's a different experience for people, and one day it's going to come up, someone else to come and have this experience. And this is, at Marree especially, we're in Central Australia and, we've got one of the sort of iconic pubs in Australia. So it's a pretty unique opportunity. We sort of look at it as, we're custodians of the hotel. Yes, we own it, but you're really just a custodian, just holding it, looking after it, ready for the next person. And
I'm surprised there's not photos on the wall of the different publicans.
Yeah,
go there, or is it in a little office somewhere where only you guys know about it?
No, this one doesn't really have anything like this. This is all this room that we're sitting in now. It's all about the history of the area and things like that. And that's this pub's like a museum basically when you go through it, and that's credit to the people prior to us have done a really good job to it. And it's our job just to maintain it, I guess.
Now you guys have threatened to retire before, and then you've obviously changed businesses again. And there was rumours that you were talking about retiring before as well. But you've also bought new planes and just bought a building over the road.
The renovator's delight.
Yeah. What do you guys just you flick a coin and see what happens, or?
Seems like that. It's like we want all this time off. We just want to sit back and relax. And the minute we do, it's like, God, now what are we going to do? That's just the type of people we are. But I'm telling you now, this is the last. We've had 2 pubs now.
Yep.
First and last.
Yep. So we bought 2 pubs, first and last.
Yep. Cool.
We'll get closer to it. I mean, the thing of buying the bigger aircraft is that they can be utilised in a totally different business, just, where we don't operate them, they just go out and they get leased out. So they've already got, that's kind of, we're transitioning into that now. So they'll go to that. And the pub will be made available to someone coming through, because this time when we retire, we are seriously retiring. Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason I don't believe this. I'll give it 2 years.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about sort of younger people coming through and getting some experience, or, potentially people buying businesses. What if someone wants a desert change and they've got, skills, they've been in management? Are there roles here where they can take over, kind of management roles? Or I think you guys were talking about maybe having like 3-month breaks and that sort of thing. So who would this area be looking for, like in terms of skilled workers?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, if you come here and you're a good people person, you've got common sense, you'll be amazed what you get away with. So,
Well, We never had a pub before.
No, we've never had a pub before. I'm not trained in anything really. Oh, flying.
Drinking.
Don't be scared of that. Flying a little bit. But other than that, you just, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. Just give good service, provide a good facility, keep your eyes open, look around, and you make it work.
Big thing with us is we knew what we saw and wanted in the outback and what we didn't like people doing or did like, and we just sort of took that on board when we done this. We just thought we know, what people would expect and what we'd like to have. So we just tried to, do that here, didn't we?
Yeah, you don't. You definitely don't need to be a rocket scientist. You need to be passionate. You need to be energetic. Which this morning I'm probably not feeling that.
You were energetic last night. Old mate tried to close the bar at 12 and Phil said, sorry, what? Hang on a minute, I'll go walk to him.
Yeah. So, look, you don't have to be a rocket scientist at all. And anyone can come and do this. Certainly, like we always say, God, if we were 10 years younger, if our kids were keen, there's no way known we'd sell this pub. We would keep it. We quite enjoy it. But we're just getting to that point, where we see, a lot of the caravans pulling up and things like that. And,
it's grey nomad time?
Yeah, getting close to it.
Well, Marie's missing the grey part. But.
Yeah, no, I've caught up there.
I thought I'd cover it.
Yeah, so it's interesting for young people. It is expensive for petrol and stuff like that. But when you come out here, and like Al and I was surprised, we got here and we're like, what? Where did all these young people come from? It's but all the pubs that we went to, and like the local bakeries and stuff. There are young people out here, and I mean a lot of it's none of our people travel and do this, but there's plenty of backpackers that are doing it because they need it for their regional stuff. So there are plenty of people coming out here. There are plenty of people that are like making it work, and they're from like it's weird coming here and hearing French, Irish, all sorts of different accents. And these are young kids from overseas that are coming out here and they're making it work. So. Yeah. If you're a kid from Melbourne or Brisbane or whatever, I'd say Victoria because everyone's leaving. But we,
I'm sure it won't take long till you're, a shift manager or a bar manager or something, which might take you years in a big city to get that on your resume and that experience.
If you can't,
we'd have Australians if
Absolutely.
It's just they don't tend to want to come out and they're silly because it's just such an experience, and I think it sets their just going forward as they get older that. Backgrounding, but I mean the backpackers are great. Like I used to think, oh gosh, you shouldn't go to an outback pub and hear, someone Chinese behind the bar or like I said, or French. It's just not Australian.
Yeah.
But Australians don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And these guys, they're fantastic. They want to work. They don't have sickies. They're on site. I'm hopeless with rostering. You can say, can you come in tomorrow? Or what are you doing in an hour? Because they're walking past. They're not off surfing on the weekend. They're here. They just want to work. They're just
But then on their weekends or on their time off, sometimes they'll just have a day in their room just chilling. Then other times there'll be 2 or 3 more get together and
at a springs or something.
Go out to one of the hot springs around or go for a drive, do something occasionally. Like the other day we had the full Dalhousie tour going on. There was room in it. Bang, we threw one of the staff on the plane, get on, go for a flight, and So
you learn some life experiences if you spend time out here.
Yeah,
it's sort of in any career, whether it's emergency services and that sort of thing. If you do some time out in a rural area, if you work in, council as public service, you're going to get a whole heap of stuff, experience and things on your resume that you just won't get being in a city.
I just think it just sets it for yourself too. Like you just think differently.
Yep.
Once you've done it.
Even the local people here, they get to know them, so they get immersed into the town and all that. And it's funny, like Aaron come back from Early Beach, from flying up there, and he's back here the other day, and he's out from the pub, and there's station people come in, or the locals are coming in, they're going, oh, mate, how you going? You're back. It's just, he's a sort of one of the family, like it's good.
The social aspect's different out here too, because especially when you, like we found a lot, we didn't really know, the guys didn't know each other on the tour, and as soon as we took off up that road and the reception just vanished,
you got to talk to someone.
Yeah, well now you're like, well, what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them download about 18 hours of podcasts and stuff to listen to on the way. But, it's funny. You pull up and you talk to people, and like blokes on dirt bikes are obviously not generally talking to each other on the whole way out there. And then as soon as they pull up, we pull up or whatever, and then everyone's like, oh, where are you from, mate? What are you doing? This and that. And it was funny talking to Al. He was about a day and a half into it. He goes, why have we never spoken to people before? You know, like everyone keeps to themselves in the city. Everyone's so busy. They're doing things. They're checking their 17 different social medias and that sort of stuff. When you come out here, it's you got plenty of time to just actually socialise and watching your staff as well. Like they're always obviously out the back together and they're hanging out. And then when like one of them's working the bar, the other three of them sit here and talk to him while he's working, or you know,
it's you see it with you'll see it with different groups of customers or whatever come into the bar and they'll all order a drink or whatever. They're sitting there in the middle of the afternoon and next minute they're talking and then later on you might see them, they're all sitting out the back having a meal together now. Mm-hmm. So they've met new friends. We light that fire out front every night and that's just a social gathering and no matter who you are standing there, you're going to talk to the bloke beside you or the lady beside you or whoever it might be. You know,
that's what we found with the free camping or free customer camping, as we call it, at the pub here. The amount that stay for a few nights and end up travelling to get or doing like the friendships they make out there. Just because they're out there together, they come in here, eat tea together, and just we've seen a lot of friends made. You know,
it's unbelievable. Like you get people stay 2 nights or something. They're in the campground. They might have done a flight years. They're doing meals and that, and they've had a couple of nights here. You know, you're talking to them like as you've known them forever, and they're talking to you back, and everyone knows your name and that, and it's like. And then the next day they're up there shaking hands. Thanks, had a great stay. See you later. You go, yeah, right, mate. No worries. I'll see you next.
But how many invitations have we had back to their houses? Like when you're in Streaky Bay,
you
come and stay with us. When you're like, because we're just their best friends now.
Yeah,
they've just.
Well, now retirement's going to work because you've got
I've got somewhere to go.
Different places you can go and stop in on.
That's what it is. They had a map out the back with dots, and they're like, "All right, we've actually got free camping all the way around everyone else's backyard."
That is something else to highlight, though. Pretty much every pub in town, it's like buy a beer, camp for free, that sort of thing, and you sort of only have those options. So get out and support the businesses. They're great nights out, great food.
Yep.
But it's a pretty good deal. Often campsites in other areas can be quite expensive or booked out. So
with another thing with safety, because a lot of people are obviously very scared all the time. But you guys have got, we got satellite phones from Mount Dare. Is there a thing where you rent them and that just chops around between the rest of them, or is that a?
No, it's funny. We're carrying satellites in our planes. We always carry a sat phone in the satellites in the plane. Sat phone in the plane.
Yep.
We always carry them in the plane, and then unfortunately, there's a satellite has just dropped out, so all sats on the Thera system are now gone. So we've just upgraded to a different system now, where we have an airplane with a permanent tracking system and all that. So sat phones are good. I think at the moment, like even us, we've looked at options of. We've got different options because that company's basically lost their satellite opportunity, so we can buy into another one and get going. But, I think between what's Telstra and Starlink and some of these combinations are coming together, I think it won't be too long at all and you'll have all the services that you need will be on your day-to-day phone. So
great for safety, but not for
no.
It's been great to have no service for a week. It's incredible.
I know it's nice, but look, it's that's coming. That's not far away. Yeah. So I think that's going to really change communication and safety in the outback because
you literally did that last night, or not last night, the night before, where like the guys were like, there's no reception because blokes wanted to tell their wives that they'd made it over the dunes or whatever.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, soon enough we will. Yeah. We were like, soon enough, we will never be offline. It's like, enjoy it while you have it at the moment.
There's a van out there now with the Starlink receiver sitting on the ground. I'm like, it is cool technology-wise, but I'm like,
I know.
Yeah.
It's nice. Look,
you do take it for granted. I mean, I know the other day we had Shipbox Rally and Off-Road Club Bash and only 90 people in town and then our service of Telstra was no good. I got a phone call that my son was driving to Lee Creek and didn't need to go now. I watched him drive out. I'm ringing him. Couldn't ring him. He got 10 k's the other side of Lyndhurst before he got my message. So it's good and it's bad.
Yeah.
It's
it's funny because I'm pretty sure 3G worked out here. Like in Victoria. Yeah, I know. But that's what's funny about it. We've got more technology and less reception. The analog system was amazing.
More than 3 people in town now and everything stops.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, look, that sort of thing's frustrating when in this day and age now. But
there's also EPIRBs. Like the
definitely EPIRBs,
That's a thing. And there's different variants of that, obviously. But if somebody's concerned about coming out here and not having it, there's EPIRBs that'll send messages. There's EPIRBs that'll send your location and do whatever else it is, and search and rescue will. And do you guys get involved with that? Do they ring you and go and tell you to go have a look? And
Yeah, sometimes. Yep, definitely. We get sent out on some jobs.
Some jobs you just go on your own.
Some,
We've had people ask us, and he's just gone up in the plane. We haven't worried about getting permission to go looking.
So, that's something we do. But, certainly you hit on there. Same as we carry in the planes. We've all got, locating beacons on them and all that sort of stuff, message alerts.
And another thing I've found is that on the track, everyone's in it together. We had a guy that was going from, I think he was trying to go to Birdsville, cross it, and then come back in the same day. He was flying.
Yeah.
Didn't get very far.
No.
And the boys found him on the side of the road. He was all bashed up and stuff. But we got him. He was in the car, and then his bike was on the back, and he came back with us, spent a couple of nights with us. And then, we dropped him off at Birdsville. But there's people coming along all the time on that track.
Yeah,
There is, and in COVID, the funniest thing we heard was, because we used to call that COVID highway.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way they tried to, get
Get
through
away.
or whatever.
That's their
But
way
we
of
had,
getting around New South Wales.
wasn't it?
Oh, genius.
Some, and not knocking the country, but I think, Chinese, Japanese, there was a international, and he's come down the track and he's gotten a flat tyre.
Yep.
So he's taken that off, thrown it over there, put his spare on, got to Mungarani and said, I need a new tyre. And they said, chuck us your rim. And he goes, what rim? He chucked the whole lot away.
Yep. Local, I mean, it's not. I wouldn't have thought that was local knowledge, but it's funny because a lot of travellers will get in trouble with simple stuff that they just won't see coming.
And you do get that. I mean, we have in summer, we've had, like you guys have been on a bike ride across the desert. We've had different guys come up here in the middle of summer, and it's bloody hot out here, and you don't want to be on these tracks too much in the middle of summer. It's not fun. And they go, listen, I'm going to rip through to Birdsville. I want to go and do that track up through there. And I go, why? And they look at me blank, and I go, you're on your own. He goes, yeah. I said, what if you come off? What if you don't come off? What if you just get a flat tyre? No one's coming. And you're out there, like we recorded, like we're at 54 degrees one day over summer this year.
Yeah.
And we've literally said to them, I just say, I would not do that. I would not go. And we've had guys, they've just literally gone, okay, cool, mate, I'll turn around and go home.
Yep.
So you just got to be smart about it. There's a time of the year where you can go. There's always a vehicle coming, and that's one of the big things out here. If someone stopped on the side of the road, they might be just pull up over the sandwich, stop, wind your window down, and go, "You're all good." And I go, "Yep, no worries, mate. Thanks. No worries. Keep going." Or no, I'm in trouble. So so you just sort of that common courtesy. But it's during the season, the tourist season, Matty. There's just generally always a vehicle coming. But in those summer months, think about what you're doing.
Cool. What's the best time would you recommend coming up here?
It's really from April, May through till probably end of October, isn't it?
Yep.
The
Simpson Desert doesn't open till the 15th of March.
Okay.
For obvious reasons, it's shut while it's so hot.
Yep. Because people will do it.
Yeah, they would.
They would do it. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
As well, we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what's over the road happening? What's that going to be?
Well, what it was is the train drivers used to stop there. It was called the rest house.
Yep.
So they'd bunk in there, have their sleep, and do their next shift.
Yep.
It's got 8 rooms and big lounge and dining room, and just looked like it needed saving.
So is it Phil's shaking his head?
He says, I've got all these ideas, but he's got to do the work. But I'm happy to pay someone.
Nice little 5-star stay on the cards or something like that? Or?
Well, it lends itself to a lot. We've also thought about just having a staff house because, as you see here, they are living here entirely.
Yep.
They could go over there, have a lounge room, sit and cook meals, be like a little communal little staff house.
Yeah.
That's probably the best thing it should probably be for us.
Then you could make it a social media influencer place. Just have the cameras up, everyone's around it like the Big Brother house.
Exactly.
Well, could be.
I mean, you probably should tell them that before they go in there. But, Is there anything else you want to say to everybody about coming out regionally or buying a pub or doing that sort of thing?
I think there's, like a lot of people travel overseas and, get their 4 weeks a year annual leave and away they go overseas. Dude, like we live in a big country and it's unbelievable. And the amount of people over COVID had the travel within our country, all of a sudden going like, geez, we didn't realise this is out here, you know. The amount of people we get climb off one of the aeroplanes, and the people that went on our Dalhousie tour the other day, they come in sort of late at night, got a meal, just set up camp out the back. And they said, oh, what do you got going in flights? You might do an hour and a half flight tomorrow. What do you got going? And then I think Marree or someone said, there's 2 seats on the Dalhousie tomorrow if you want. Got a plane going up there. And they looked at it, and I showed them on the map, this is where you go, this, and this. And the old mate just said, yep, sign us up. We jump in. Spent more money than his hour and a half flight, obviously. But they come back that night and he goes, thank Christ you talked us into that. You know, he was stoked. So, you know, like there's so much to see. So for the general punter out there, you know, yep, it's unreal to go and do your trip, you know, overseas and do that. But geez, like get into Australia itself. There's so much to see, you know, of our own country.
Well, people from overseas can't believe the size of them. When we had some Argent from Austria, we had a couple and we said, here, take our car, have a couple of days off. And they said, oh, where do we go to get to Port Augusta? And we said, just turn onto that road and then drive for 3.5 hours.
You'll see the signs. Yeah.
But don't turn.
Yeah.
And they go, what? And they thought I was just sort of, they go, you don't.
Yeah.
It's just 3.5. And they said, we would be like over the other side of the country into another one. And they just couldn't
You
believe
need to clarify
That's
with
a short
don't turn though, because if there's a bend in the road, they'll go,
Turn a little bit.
Maria told us
Turn a little bit.
we cannot turn.
Follow the black stuff.
You're like, hey, I mean, I've gone an extra hour off the road and I'm bogged. I don't know what happened. Like, wow.
Just like Google Maps.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, Phil and Maria, thank you for hosting us again at the Marree Hotel. And to our imposters, get out and see Central Australia. And we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
Just do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? Just do it. Simple.
Yesterday you said